In the first part, we discover Sonic's true nature in the JJK universe, but we see no matter how much Sonic changed the story, there was one event he could never truly escape. Hey guys, I'm DontDothatShi, and today we're going to be continuing the series of What If Sonic ate the Finger. You guys liked the last video so much, so we're going to make a part 2. So if you guys like what you're seeing, strap in and let's get right into this. Taking it back to where we previously left stuff off, everything was starting to build up to the Shibuya arc, the most infamous arc in all of JJK history. Will the events of the Shibuya arc change if Sonic is there? Instead, we already know the dangerous intent of the disaster curses, and they are trying to contain Gojo to make sure he doesn't involve himself in their plan. Where else to spring Gojo into a trap than a place with a bunch of civilians? However, everything changes when Gojo is first encountering the disaster curses. Jogo uses the civilians as hostages. Hanami and Choso both use their curse technique to try and eliminate more of the civilians to make Gojo bargain with them better, but little do they know, due to Gojo's infinity, it is basically impossible to touch Gojo. And it is because of the sheer power of Gojo's abilities, Hanami and Jogo are instantly defeated. As the fight continues, we cut back to Mei and Sonic being uninformed about the other curses in Shibuya and being talked about there being the possibility of transfigured humans. Sonic, initially hearing this, remembers who is truly responsible for transfiguring humans, and who else but Mahito. As the hunt for Mahito continues, we cut back to Gojo absolutely decimating the fight with the remaining of the disaster curses. Choso tries to use his blood manipulation technique. Due to Gojo's ability, it does not pierce him. And as Mahito enters the fight with Gojo, it is looking like Gojo is starting to become overwhelmed to the point where he has to use his ultimate gamble, a domain expansion for exactly 0.2 seconds. As due to that domain expansion, Gojo is able to defeat everyone. The fight has seemed already won. And just as when the victory seems certain, things start to take a dark turn. Gato uses the prison realm to trap Gojo in, and since Sonic is still chasing after Mahito, and even Sonic can't be everywhere at once. It's due to this, Gojo is now sealed in the prison realm, and is gone for the near future. Sonic learns through the Mekumaru robot that Gojo has been sealed. Due to Gojo's sheer power, the cube cannot truly be moved and is stuck to the ground. And as the disaster curses are planning their next move, Choso decides to say to avenge his brothers, and venges to kill Sonic and Nobara. Mahito also butts in for no reason at all and wants to also kill Sonic for some reason. Not gonna go well, you lost the last time. Mahito offers the plan to kill Sonic. He doesn't care if Sukuna is actually in Sonic's body, and knows if Sonic is still a possibility of being a character, his plans to win won't be true. Gogo debates back and forth with Mahito to try and keep Sukuna alive, and implies that he is their ally and would help them in the whole Shibuya incident. Mahito, understanding this and hearing this, gives Jogo an ultimatum. If Mahito finds Sonic first, he will kill him. But if Jogo finds him first, he will offer him the fingers to restore Sukuna's powers. Choso also intervenes and wants to also kill Sonic, so it's now a three-way triple kill. We now have three main antagonists chasing after for Sonic's body. Two of them want him dead and one wants to use his body for the worst of evil. When Gojo had already been sealed, another battle was about to begin, not driven by duty, but by revenge. The blood of the death paintings hadn't been forgotten, and to Choso, the one person standing before him wasn't a hero, but instead was his brother's killer. Unlike every curse Sonic had faced before, Choso didn't rush in. He studied, he waited, and he was looking for the one mistake Sonic would eventually make. Choso withholds one of the fastest techniques in all of Jujutsu Kaisen. Sonic, not truly understanding that, barely dodges it for the first time. Sonic had never truly fought someone of the likes of Choso, so every drop of blood was a weapon. Every missed attack became another trap for Sonic the Hedgehog. At first it seems Sonic is winning the fight. He has the speed advantage and power advantage over Choso. Sonic's speed was truly too much to begin with, but Choso wasn't trying to catch Sonic. Choso, already in the brief seconds of seeing this sheer speed monster, already knows that beating him through sheer reaction speed isn't going to cut it. Instead, all he needed to do was land one cut. Choso reverts to using Supernova. The blood across the battlefield gives Choso the great advantage to be able to use this ability. Choso looked like he was about to lose the fight, and because of this, Sonic saw an opening. Choso wasn't truly trying to fight Sonic head on, instead he was planning a battleground to use to his advantage. And it's because of this Sonic is temporarily incapacitated. But it's due to this temporary incapacitation, Choso still gets the same memories of Sonic being his half-brother. The Itadori family being already weird enough, we have to switch them for a hedgehog. Mimiko and Nanako, if that's the right way you say it, don't cancel me, find Sonic in this incapacitated state and start feeding him D-fingers. And Jogo is encountered to Sonic. He is the first one out of 3 to find Sonic the Hedgehog, and in this incapacitated state, he feeds Sonic 10 of D-fingers, and it is because of this Sukuna is now in control. We know that initially that Sonic is meant to take 1 finger after every 20 days, but taking all 10 of the fingers at once can only lead to sheer destruction. Now, because of Sukuna being completely in control, he can finally do what he wants to do. The fight between him and Jogo will still be the same elements of him testing around the limits of Sonic's true power. And unlike the first time with these abilities, he has learned how to use it within limits. And it is because of that, Sukuna is now becoming an even more terrifying threat. We got back to Megami in another encounter and, would you guessed it, about to whip out Mahoraga. As a result to Haruta almost leaving Megami within a breath of his life, Megami resorts to his last option, his option Divine General Mahoraga. Mahoraga absolutely wipes the floor with Megami and throws him first away. Sukuna, hearing the sheer power of a Shinigami in the distance, finds Mahoraga for one and for all, and sees that Megami is actually in a suspended state of death. Looking at him and still wanting to use his body for longer, keeps him alive, as he has better plans for him, and the fight between Sukuna and Mahoraga continues. We know within Sonic's strength and abilities, he has powerful attacks and mainly mains in speed, and Mahoraga's greatest thing is the ability to adapt. So what would happen if we mix in the dismantle with sheer speed? Can Mahoraga truly adapt to it as quick as he thinks he can? Knowing how Sukuna acts with Mahoraga, he's trying to assess how quick he truly can adapt to him. And it's because of this fatal mistake, he starts to play around with Mahoraga. And it's due to this, Mahoraga slowly starts to be able to adapt to Sonic's speed. As they are throwing each other across buildings in the Shibuya city, Sukuna has to quickly end the fight by using his domain expansion followed by Fuga. And after he uses this ability, he finally goes back into Sonic's body. Sonic, realizing the true oblivion that Sukuna has created, is left devastated, no more than no other. And it's not only because of that, he knows he could have prevented this whole time if he played more safe. Because he was such in a rush to find Mahito, he let his guard down. And it's due to that, he blames himself for the Shibuya Arc. During his mission of finding Mahito, he finds Mahito yet again killing one of his closest teammates, Nanami. And it's due to that the fight begins with the two of them. By the time Sonic finally found Mahito, Shibuya no longer looked like a city. The fastest hero alive had spent the entire night trying to save everyone. There was one person who was too late to stop. Sonic, using his overwhelming speed, immediately took control of the fight, striking Mahito from every single angle before the curse could even react. For a brief moment, it looked like history was going to repeat himself from the last time they fought, but Mahito wasn't interested in winning with brute force. He already learned Sonic's greatest weakness with the likes of killing Junpei, and instead of chasing Sonic, Mahito turned his attention towards the civilians and still trapped inside Shibuya. Every transfigured human he created became another distraction, another life Sonic refused to abandon. Every second spent saving someone else, there was another second Mahito could prepare his next move. Despite his overwhelming speed, Mahito's relentless evolution has slowly begun to close the gap. Every exchange became more dangerous than the last. For the first time that night, Sonic has found himself being pushed back. Just as Mahito prepared to land the finishing blow, another sorcerer entered the battlefield, Todo. Having tracked Mahito through the ruins of Shibuya, Todo had wasted no time to join into the fight. With his help of his boogie woogie technique, Mahito's rhythm was immediately thrown into chaos. Every clap completely changed the battlefield, forcing Mahito to second guess every attack. For the first time since evolving, Mahito had lost control of the fight. Todo's unpredictable technique created exactly what Sonic had been searching for, an opening. As Todo continued swapping their positions in an instant, Sonic became building more and more momentum, learning from his previous fight with Choso to use his surroundings to his advantage. Each pass around the battlefield made him faster. Each exchange pushed Mahito further and further into the defensive, and by the time Mahito realized what Sonic was planning, it was already too late. Pushing himself harder than ever before, Sonic used the collapsing city himself to build an even greater speed, rushing across shattered buildings and rebounding off of falling debris and accelerating far beyond Mahito had ever anticipated. With one final burst of speed, Sonic unleashed a devastating spin dash, the impact sending Mahito crashing through the remains of Shibuya. Mahito had escaped with his life left within him. His body had reached its absolute limit. For the first time since Shibuya began, the curse that had caused so much suffering was desperately trying to survive. But Mahito was never behind the Shibuya incident. He was simply another piece in someone else's chessboard. As Mahito attempted to flee, an all too familiar presence stepped out from below the shadows. Kenjaku, the true architect behind everything that happened in Shibuya, the disaster curses. Mahito had been an ally, but to Kenjaku, he was nothing more than a tool. The moment Mahito had lowered his guard, Kenjaku activated his curse spirit manipulation. Within seconds, the curse that had terrorized Japan was absorbed. Not out of mercy, but because Mahito's technique had served its purpose. Everything had been going according to Kenjaku's plan. Watching from the ruins, Choso had finally began piecing everything together. The man standing before him wasn't Gato, but instead Narutoshi Kamo. Consumed by rage, Choso charged without hesitation, and despite everything Choso had accomplished that night, the gap between Choso and Kenjaku was overwhelming. Every attack was calmly dismantled and every strategy had already been anticipated. For the first time, Choso understood what true experience looked like. No matter how hard he fought, Kenjaku never looked concerned. By the time Sonic and Todo reached the battlefield, the fight was already over. Kenjaku had accomplished exactly what he came for. Mahito was gone, Gojo remained sealed, and the man responsible simply walked away. As the sun slowly rose above Shibuya, the battle was finally over, but victory was nowhere to be found. Thousands of civilians had lost their lives. Entire districts had been reduced to rubble. The strongest sorcerer in the world remained trapped inside the prison realm, and for the first time since becoming Sukuna's vessel, Sonic couldn't outrun the consequences. Everything he had fought to protect had fallen apart. With Gojo sealed, the imbalance of Jujutsu world had completely collapsed. The higher-ups were already preparing their next move, ancient players were beginning to awaken, and somewhere in these shadows, Kenjaku's true game was only just beginning. If Sonic wanted any chance of stopping what came next, he needed to become stronger than ever before it's too late. Hey guys, if you guys enjoyed watching that video, please leave a like and subscribe. These take a long time to make, and I do read your comments, bad and good. But I do hope you guys like this series. This is just a fun and games. There's no actual power scaling, so please don't get mad if stuff doesn't always make sense. This is a multi-dimensional hedgehog in a world with no one more than country level. So if you guys do like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And just like that guys, DDS